if your chipping sucks, there's only two reasons. You have no confidence and you have no technique. And you don't have confidence because you got crap technique. Most of the time, you're going to be fatting and thinning your chips because your technique is all wrong. You've got most of your weight on the right foot and you're trying to lift the ball up because you don't trust the loft of the club. With this technique, what I want you to do is to set up to the ball open, okay? So then we eliminate worrying about hip turn and shoulder turn and sinking everything. They're preset to open, okay? And then what I want you to do is place all the weight on your left foot. You should be able to chip on your front foot, okay? Once you've done that, you play the ball off your back foot. With the ball of your back foot, it's very easy to preset your hands in front of the ball. You always want the hands in front of the ball. You never want to be falling back onto your back foot, putting the weight on the back foot and flipping the ball up into the air. By setting your weight on the left side and by setting your hands in front of the ball, you eliminate the chance of falling backwards or flipping your hands. Now throughout the chip, you have to keep your hands running ahead of the club head. What this does is it makes the club head travel at the same speed of the hands. That is very important for chipping. We must always have control of the club face. As soon as you flip the ball, you lose control of the speed of the club head. So you don't know if it's going to go high and with some spin, or you don't know if you're going to hit it in the teeth. You have to eliminate the wrist action. So back foot, weight on the left side, hands in front of the ball, and another tip is grip down, because the closer we are to the ball, the more feel we have. When you're chipping up here and far from the ball, it's very difficult to feel. Now, next step is to find a spot on the green, depending on the club you use. So here I'm using an 8-iron, pretty good club for this one. It's got a lot of green to work with. So I'm going to set up to the ball, feet close together, stance wide open, ball on the back foot, 8-iron, hands in front of the ball, pick my spot, probably about 2.5 yards onto the green, and let it roll out to the hole. If we use a sand wedge here, we have to flop it way too far to the hole, and we don't know how the spin's going to react or how the ball is going to bounce. So better get the thing rolling as soon as possible.
Okay.
And that's how you do it. The basic technique for chipping, there's only one. There's no other way to chip, because many people think that it's okay to chip like this, by flicking the ball up. That's a very common response because you assume that the club needs help to get the ball in the air. These clubs have been designed to hit down on the ball and pop the ball up into the air. So what that means is we always want to have our hands in front of the ball, and we want to have our weight on the left side, not on the back foot. When you get into the idea of wanting to flip the ball, it means that you also want to fall back onto your right side to help you get it in the air. This is the worst thing possible that you could do, because what happens then is that you start falling back, your hands take over, the club head moves too fast and you lose control of the club head. Your distance control goes out the window, and that's when you start chunking it and when you start blading it along the ground across the green. Most important thing is weight on the left side, hands ahead of the ball, hands ahead of the ball. Ball is played off either your back foot or your front foot. Never in between, because you can't commit to a ball flight there. If you play it off the back, it's a low ball flight. If you play it off the front, it's a high ball flight. Your hands are always ahead of the ball, and there's no flicking at the bottom. It's not a bunker shot. It's not a flop shot. It's just a simple move, hands ahead of the ball at all times. Okay? When your hands move at the same speed as your club head, like this, you can control the club head. As soon as you start doing this, the club head moves too fast and you can't control your distance or spin rates. Another thing that you need to remember is you need to have an open stance, very open to the target. You don't want to worry about your hips rotation, your weight shifting, none of that. You want to have all your weight on the left side. An open stance, hands ahead of the ball, and no wrists breaking at the bottom. Just a simple stroke through the ball, hitting down on the ball. Once you've got this technique down, what you can do is start picking spots on the green. What I've done is I put a chip down there, and now off the front foot I want to land it there, and off the back foot I may want to land it a bit shorter with a lower ball flight and more run out. Front foot. Okay, that is amazing. That's a one-take wonder. That's why they call me one-take wonder. Okay, now one off the back foot. A little bit lower. Same line, maybe a bit short of that poker chip. Okay, not my best. We've got about a 7-footer. So with this, because we're landing it shorter, we may want to go left of that poker chip because it's going to take more break. Okay, so that's a 3-footer for par. You see?
Quicker.
Accelerate.
Okay.
And now look where you want to land it. Where do you want to land it?
A bit to the right.
Where?
Before the hole, a bit to the right.
No,
So
no,
that
but you need to give me a specific spot. Go show me the spot. Okay, if you land the ball there, how's it going to react? It's a hard ball. It's going to bounce forever, right? Yeah, so I want you to land it here.
Where?
Yeah.
Somewhere here.
Do it. Come, do it.
Okay.
Just commit to that spot and do it. Promise. Because your ball is not going to just suddenly stop.
Okay, Smokey.
There you go. That's a better shot.
What? What is that?
That's a great shot. Now you may be wondering, how did I pick that line? Basically, it's the same as putting. You have to read the line as if you're putting the ball from the spot you want to land it on. Because you're going to land it on that spot, it's going to take another hop, and then it's going to start taking the break and roll up to the hole just like a putt. The basic idea of chipping is to get it on the green and rolling toward the hole. Now this is general chipping, and obviously not if you're short-sighted and you have almost no green to work with. I've got quite a bit of green to work with here. So for me, I can roll it up quite a bit with a 50 degree. I'll show you the basic technique of chipping, but something that's very important that very few people talk about is not focusing on the hole. We don't want to focus only on the hole. We want to focus on our spot that we want to land the ball on. That's key to good chipping. We can all read the green to varying degrees. Some of us are very good, some of us not so great, but we can all get a general idea of the slope. So once you've read the green, you need to experiment by practicing on where the best place is to land the ball, on downhill, side hill, uphill chips. Now, if you hit a chip and you've hit it solid and it feels good, but it's landed on the right spot, but you haven't got it near the hole, never ever get depressed. Please. It's a good chip, you've just made a mistake with where you want to land it. So as you get better and better with landing the ball where you want to, you'll also get better at finding that spot that you want to land it on. And that in the long term is going to be how you're going to be a great chipper. We can all be great chippers. I wasn't born chipping, Tiger Woods wasn't, Phil Mickelson wasn't, neither were you. But how many of us actually practice this? Really? The thing about this is that once you've learned the technique, once you've grooved it, once you've learned how to land the ball where you want to land it, you just take this technique and you copy paste it depending on the course you're playing. So if you're playing bent greens or Bermuda greens or Zoysia greens or Papillon greens, all you're doing is changing the landing spot. You're using the same technique, everything's grooved, you feel confident, you feel one with the club. Now it's just adjusting within the first 3 or 4 holes, learning where to land the ball.